Mic check. Everyone, welcome to another edition of the G-Lew Show, Friday Night Live after hours. And tonight we got a very special guest. Man, I'm excited about this one, people. My brother Aurthur is going to be here tonight. Some may know him from the legendary cult classic hood movie, Mi Vida Loca. You know what I mean? My brother Aurthur Escar is here tonight. So everyone kick back. It's going to be a good one. So just kick back, okay? We're going to get this show started like this here. She said nothing is plain. Okay, well, we're back. Welcome everyone to the show. Let me see. I am G-Lew. Welcome everyone to the show. Shout out to everyone out there tonight. We got a very, very special guest. We got my brother. He is here in the building. My brother Aurthur is here. Welcome everyone to the show. What's up, brother?
What's up, G. Lewis? How you been, man?
Hey, I've been pretty good, man. I've been pretty good. I can't complain, man. Glad to have you here today, man. I'm excited about this one. You know what I mean? I've been looking forward to it because I know we were supposed to have you, I think, a week or so ago, but we had to reschedule. So glad we got you here tonight, man. Why don't you tell
be here.
Who you are? Tell the people who you are, bro.
What's up, everybody? My name's Aurthur Escar. I go by the name of Shadow, also known again as Shadow. I played in that movie, iconic movie, Mi Vida Loca.
Yes, sir. Classic movie, man. One of my favorites. And a lot of people say it's their favorite as well. Man, it's so much to get into, but just a little bit about you, Aurthur. How did well, we're gonna get to even how you got into acting and got into the business of the movie, but give us a little bit of background about yourself, bro. Can you hear me? Can't hear me?
Yes.
I don't know what happened. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you didn't hear my question. I don't know what's going on. I was saying give us a little bit of background about yourself if you could before we get started.
Okay, well, my name again is Aurthur Escar. I played Shadow in that iconic movie called Mi Vida Loca. 48 years old. Back then, actually, I was 16 years old when I did that. So it was real good honor to be a part of that. But again, I'm here. I'm 47 years old. I'm a product support rep from Rust-Oleum. But again, it was really honor to be a part of that movie. 30 years ago, again, I was 16 years old. I studied the arts. Growing up in the hood in the East LA, I didn't get involved with gangs. I just kind of had a passion for arts and dancing. So then I used to dance with a little dance crew called Soul Town Posse. And actually, that's around the time I think I met you, around 14, 15. Yeah. You were from ATR, Above the Law, I think, above the rest.
Above the rest.
Yes, above the rest. Yes. And, we were dance crews back then, and it was a real that's just a passion that I had. It was just good to be a part of that scene.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. The more I think back about it, around that time, I remember those times and coming up with crews and doing different things, and that's how we kind of mingled and met. And I always remember you, Art. You were just like little dude, man. Just you were cool. You were always like the cool little homie, bro. And it's just like everyone, had love for you and just knew you. You were in the mix. You just a cool little homie, bro, all the time. But everyone had respect for you, and you kept a good rapport with everyone. You know what I mean? Then we started mingling and going out, doing our thing as well. Yeah. Where did you grow? Because I know at that time we were at Alhambra High, but tell us a
Yeah.
little bit before that. Where did you grow up at?
Well, I grew up in East LA and Boyle Heights. Actually, I was adopted at actually 3 years old. I'm actually Ecuadorian. My mom is white from New York. My dad is from Sonora, Mexico. But they adopted again a youngster like me at 3 years old, and they actually we grew up in Boyle Heights, right there on Whittier, and I'm basically Olympic and Soto Street. We
Right.
grew up there for about 14 years, and I was going to Wyvernwood. I lived in Wyvernwood. I was going to Dakota Street Elementary, and I really had a passion for dancing. So at a really young age, there was a dance teacher in my daycare who was teaching kids how to dance, and so I had a real passion for that. So I started dancing, and the lady took a liking for me, and then I became a part of the LA dancers at that time. Would be dancing all around California. We even danced for the LA Dodgers. For a lot of big people, and after that, I actually had I started getting the opportunity to start speaking or doing auditions at a real young age, and so I studied the arts. I took acting classes and stuff like that. I got an agent, and I was really trying to set my path, to become somebody.
Right, right. And see, that's crazy. I'm glad you're giving us that story because well, I guess we're kids at that time. No one really knew your whole background and knew all that. I just knew you was a cool little dude. You was coming around,
Right.
and we just in the mix. How did you wind up in Alhambra? Because what people don't know too, Alhambra High, where we were at, was like a melting pot. Like people were from everywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
And wind up.
Well,
So
Well, I
how
guess there was a place where mom wanted because again, we actually
you go?
after Boyle Heights, we moved to West Covina, and then after West Covina, we moved back to Alhambra. And like I said, it was just trying to get out of the ghetto. Like I said, when you grew up in the Wyvernwood and Estrada Court your whole life, your mom wanted something different for you, and she was definitely in a position to do that. So we moved over to Alhambra, and that's when I started going to Garfield Elementary, and then I went to Alhambra High School.
That's what's up. Shout out to Garfield. I went to Northrop, but it's crazy how, like you said, your parents or your mom wants to move. That's why it was so many people in Alhambra from everywhere, and that's why it
Yep.
became so many gangs and so many because it was people from everywhere. But
Right.
we were trying to move there. Like my mom too. We came from West LA, and my mom was trying to move. She didn't want us in that. You know what I mean? So trying
Yep.
to move you there and thinking it's good, which it was cool, Alhambra, but it was so much going on that you know what I
True.
mean. It was cracking, homie.
Right. And again, being in the '90s at a real young age, there was a lot of stuff coming at you. Not that these kids have a lot of stuff at nowadays, but we had
Right.
a different type of at passion or driven adolescence and stuff like that. So but nevertheless, I was helping to stay focused and stuff. I just try to study my craft, and I was honored to get blessed with this opportunity. I did audition for American Me at a young age. I did Colors. I did audition for Colors, but I was real young at that age. But
Right.
I did have a friend by the name of Steven Villegas who was actually in Colors, who got spray painted in the face
Oh,
green. He was
that was your homie?
yeah, his name was Steven. I think Steven something. But again, he was in the dance group that I was with, and we ended up starting to kind of go on into an acting scene, and he got
Wow.
his landing in that too. So a big shout out to him. But it was just a different passion I had. And like I said, I still have it till this day. But again, at the end of the day, it was just a good experience to be a part of at that young age.
Right, right. Homie says salute Shadow the Legend. What up, Derek? That's crazy. I didn't know you I know I heard you speak about that before, but at that time, I didn't know you were auditioning for Colors because that was another big
Yeah.
movie. Like Colors, certain movies, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Some look at them like whatever, but as to the world, and those are really big movies, man. Like, and really set the
Right.
tone for the whole LA code, how people see it. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
Colors was big. Um, and again, even when we knew you, like in high school, like no one knew. Again, you were just a cool homie.
Yeah.
You
Cool
didn't
homie.
care a lot about all this
Yeah.
stuff you were doing. So we knew, though, we heard like you were doing auditions and you acted, but no one, I think, really knew. You know what I mean? For real,
Right.
like, the depth and what you were doing. And then a lot of times, people, you can't tell kids, they don't believe everything unless they see it. So a lot of times, I don't think a lot of people really knew. You know what I mean? What was going on with you? Um, but but can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Oh,
I can hear you now. Sorry, I lost you.
I don't know what
Yes,
happened.
sir.
Yeah, but even back then we didn't know. We just knew you were doing a lot of acting, and we heard about things you were doing. But for me, like I told you, I think when you were on the Blockout show when I called in, I didn't know. I think I remember you talking about you auditioning, but I know we were just so happy because by that
Right.
time, I think we lost contact. But when we seen you in the movie, Mi Vida Loca, we were just happy, homie, and I knew I was
Right.
telling everybody that's my homeboy right there. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? Everyone was just so proud for you, bro. How did
Yeah,
that?
dude, and I appreciate that. I definitely always, again, I always appreciate the love. Like I said, being a part of the dance group and, we just going, from party to house party, battling stuff. That was a
Yeah,
love back then. I mean, everybody had their dirt and stuff, but I mean, we used to battle against each other. And I remember you guys as some top notch, high class
yeah,
dancers. I mean, ATR was top
yeah.
notch, and like I said, I remember another guy, remember Scooter. We used to go to
Scooter,
Scooter's
that's
house.
my boy. He lived in San
Yeah,
Gabriel.
yeah. We used to go to Scooter's
San
house right there on
Gabriel,
Del Mar and
yeah, right
Mission.
there by Mission, right there. That's
Yeah.
my boy. Scooter. That's my boy. But shout out to Scooter. He had he had an accident some years ago, man. So he's like kind of like paralyzed, bro.
Oh, wow. Sorry
But
to
he's
hear
still
that.
hanging in there, yeah, man. But that's my boy, man. That was my
Yeah.
boy. Scooter. Scooter got it popping. Live right there on Mission by San Gabriel High.
Exactly. And that's why talking to you and kind of, coming back full circle, like I said, I mean, when I was at that, when we were young at that time, we all did stupid shit. I mean, I wasn't the perfect kid. We all sampled in bullshit, and I don't remember a lot of bullshit back then, but to kind of, meet old friends again, it kind of brings it back full circle. I'm starting to remember a lot of the old memories and stuff like that. And maybe it was the best sad thing about the drugs and stuff. We all sampled with that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's good,
yeah.
come back full circle around and just be in the presence of just
Yeah.
you guys and everybody. And like I said, I'm just happy to be a part of that movie 15, 30 years ago. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a blessing.
Hey man, take us because I know a lot of people want to know about this movie. Everyone in the comments, everyone already told me they love that movie, right? I'm sure you've gotten it over the years, but take us if you can through the process of making that movie happen from you probably finding out that you got the part to the filming and how everything kind of went down.
Well, again, I was again real young. I'm going to say about 15 years old. Again, I was, basically I had an opportunity to go speak with the manager, and her name was, his name was Carlos Alvarado, from the Carlos Alvarado agency. So I went and go spoke with the gentleman, and he liked my vibe and stuff. He's like, okay, I'm going to start sending you out on auditions and interviews. So
Right.
at that time, I was starting to go again interview for like I said, American Me, Colors and stuff like that. A few other student films. And so I started getting my feet wet in a bunch of student films. There was people that graduated from college. They got to do a thesis. So they, I did a few, shows like that. I think I was in a show called Distant Waters.
Okay.
It was just a, movie from a gentleman completing high school. And then I started kind of getting into other stuff. I did a few ballet things. I was in the Nutcracker. I think it was in 1990. Yeah, I was in the Nutcracker, the San Gabriel Civic Auditorium. I think it was in 1990, maybe like one. So I had an opportunity to do that, and then I had this opportunity to meet with a lady called Betsy Fields. She was a casting director for Mi Vida Loca.
Okay.
So I went and spoke to her, and she kind of gave me a script at the end of the day, and I was kind of looking at it, and it was kind of wild at the end of the day. I didn't really know what I was getting into.
Right.
And but again, being 16 and stuff, I really had a drift, passion to, to do something, to make myself, be part of something. So, I studied the craft. I guess I studied my lines real well, and they actually casted me upon that. And again, real honored and grateful because at the end of the day, like I said, being in the presence of like Panchito, Jesse Borrego, those guys were very young and very hungry, and they were barely, taking off, and to be in the presence of them really helped me kind of, made me feel comfortable or trying to study my craft better, have a passion for my craft, So, and again, being at that, young age, the really, people didn't really want to mess with you. They just want to see what you're all about again. Like I said, I had ups and downs. I wasn't the brightest, youngest kid, I was still trying to struggle with life, but still trying to, but this kept me focused. Like I said, it kept me focused. It kept me driven. And, so I did the, I had this opportunity. We did the film for about a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. About a year and a half in different portions and stuff like that.
Right.
And then after that, I wanted this kind of film to kind of catapult me. But again, being young, and just part of normal life, I had met my previous wife, and I had 4 children at a very young age, and just had to kind of leave the whole industry. And become
Wow.
a working father. I got 4 young, beautiful older children. One is autistic, but they're all here,
Okay.
and I was just happy to, just have that experience at that young age.
Right, right. How was that like? Because you said it took over a year and a half. So, how was that whole process like? Was it strenuous? Was it fun? Was it
It was,
troubling? Was it
it was
learning? Like, how was the whole process?
it was fun and troublesome. Like I said, I was having to go to school on set. Like I said, I mean, at that time, I would actually have to ditch school. I didn't even, I was going to Alhambra High. I had to
Right,
actually ditch school to kind of go to set because I really couldn't let them know that I was, going, or really tell them I was involved. I had a work permit and stuff like that, but I
right,
couldn't always just get up and leave. So I actually had to leave. I would have school on set and stuff. So, that was a good experience also too. And, just being a part of, that everybody else was a good experience. Being young, just trying to find my place in life.
right.
Um, but it was a good experience. Everybody was very respectful. They were humble. The ladies, all the ladies, Sadie, Mousy, Sad Girl, Blue Eyes, they all just, they made themselves very, you know, open, and they were very respectful and, welcoming to me as a young kid.
Right. How was it? How was it as far as on set? Like, how far separated was the reality from from the movie? Like the scenes, because you guys also filmed in Echo Park, and
Yeah,
then
it was.
you
Yeah,
had
it's not really that far from it. It was
you had
not really that far. We were always in the hood. I think I had mentioned a while. Like there was one scene where I was actually filming right in the hood, right by the telephone booth, and I had to actually run across the street. And there was some people from rival gangs at night had came by and threw a bottle at me, and it kind of busted the side of my leg.
oh wow.
So I had to go to the doctor, or get kind of fixed up that day and stuff. But I came back out and still did my part and stuff. But I mean that was some of the you know normal activity that you would experience being in the hood.
Right, right. How was it working with, like, what was the difference? Well, I want to ask you, were there first, because I know a lot of you guys were young, but you had a few seasoned uh kind of actors on the set that were part of the movie. Like, how did they help you? How did that go for the new actors working with the older actors and seasoned actors? Did they help you guys? How was
Yeah,
that process?
well, definitely that. Yeah, like Jesse Borrego. I mean, he played El Duran, Panchito. He played Joker Bird. I mean, there was a few scenes where I was in them, and actually, El Duran was our enemy. So
Right,
but they actually were a lot older, and they were actually already, starting to get, catapult to their legacy. You know what I'm saying? But I was definitely able to kind of, grab a hold of their kind of their humbleness. You know what I'm saying? Their
right,
character. They really had a lot of passion, and again, these are young, actors just kind of, living their dream. Like I said, Sadie, Mousy, all those girls. I mean, they were very young at that age, and I was just kind of seeing them live, go through their passion and drive, and that was very inspirational.
right, right. How was it? I mean, I know at that time, because I think I asked who do we have? Someone else on here, and I asked her, but you guys also had the legendary actress Salma Hayek
Yeah,
in the movie and on set. How was that? I know at that time she wasn't as big, but
you're
still, how
right.
was that, even as you look back on it now?
That was a very honor and an experience. Like I said, there was a scene where she was actually in the light hot pink dress, and actually we had actually had an opportunity. I think I have an opportunity to drive in the caravan to one of the scenes with her, and it was just I mean a beautiful experience. Like I said, me being a little 16-year travieso, this little
Right,
hot
right,
girl in the back, I was like,
right,
damn. But
right,
again, I maintained my composure, but it was just a good experience and very humble lady, and just like all the actors in there, they were very respectful and humble. And but again, they had a drive, and
right.
a lot of them ended up to where they are now.
Right, right. That's the
Yeah,
great thing I love about these movies. Like you say, when you look back at that time where everyone was young, but you look now and see some of the people, and like, even like you go back to Colors, right? As you said, you were supposed to be in that, or audition, and you look back at that movie when it actually came out. All those actors in there were young actors, but all of them, probably 80% of the people that had roles in there, went on to be pretty good legends, Don
Yep.
Cheadle and you know Damian
Yep.
Wayans and the homie he passed away, Frog. I know right after, but it was so
Yep.
many people. The Weddle dude, I forgot his name, but he's been in a lot of stuff. Then you had Rico Suave, my boy, in there. It was so many people that had great careers.
Yep.
And then you go to Mi Vida Loca. You know, a lot of you guys are you know great actors, and you had like we said, Selma Hayek, and the whole. It was just you look at these movies and the things you know people how they you know further their careers and
Right.
become legends. You know.
And what I like about this particular movie during that time is like you're right. When it came out, there was a lot. There were these were movies that were kind of driven on like Hispanic culture and the culture of Latino heritage, and this particular one kind of grasped that love. Like I said, and anybody could relate to love. Anybody falls in love with a homeboy and a homegirl, whether you're here from here, and stuff. And it was just a very good story about love, in the hood, that everybody could relate to. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a group of friends, and maybe they may not all grow up together, but they all may have a situation that they can relate to. And it was just a good experience to kind of show that example rather than a different effect of what our culture is about, right?
Right, right. How hard was it for you, if any? Because I know you could draw. I'm sure you was able to draw from your character people that you knew because you grew up around that. You know what I mean? But how hard was it for you to get into character for this movie of the role you played?
It wasn't hard. I mean, I was a little nervous, but the homegirls, like I said, Whisper, all the homegirls from the hood, Vettel and all them, they all made me feel comfortable, And like, I mean, again, we weren't all saints. We used to go to, we used to show up a little bit buzz and high, so I kind of like helped it. But at the end of the day, I mean, they were all they made me feel comfortable with kind of displaying the character, that I was trying to, play, and they made me feel comfortable with that.
Right. Um, how was that like for you all? Did you all become pretty close during filming, or was everyone from different parts and didn't know each other, didn't fuck with each other off camera?
No,
How
we
did that?
did all become a very good family. We used to hang out after. We used to go to, well, I mean, I only could hang out to as far as I could because I couldn't go to the bars and hung out with them after. But on set and stuff, we had a real good, kind of bond and everything. We hung out, we chilled. Everybody was together, homeboys and homegirls, actors, and everybody was just all one bunch. It was real, it was a real like family situation.
Right, right. I know. Again, you said it took about a year or so to record. How long after, like, because I think we remember this movie what coming out in '93. I think.
Right.
So that means it was probably filmed '92 or earlier. Like,
Right.
how long did that whole process take once you filmed and then it was wrapped and like did you just go on with your life? How did you guys know when it was coming out? Like, how did that process go after?
Right. Well, after it was actually filmed, actually Allison Nanders, she got the whole crew together, and we actually had a real big a party and actually a preview actually at the what is the Cinedome, which is over there, I think on Santa Monica. We had
Right.
a real big preview. I think Cypress Hill actually came out to that preview. We had a real big like Hollywood preview.
Lighter Shade, I think, was there too,
Yeah,
right?
Lighter Shade of Brown, yeah, because this was HBO's, I think, first movie on a wide screen.
Right.
Before HBO, I did a lot of cable stuff, but this was their particular first movie being on a real big
Oh,
screen. So,
HBO did produce that or whatever. Yeah, because you see the HBO credits at the beginning.
right.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, so this was like HBO's first like particular like big screen, and so we did at the Cinedome. It was a real big experience to be a part of. I remember it was just red carpet, feature. And again, me being very young, I was just trying to just hold it all in, accept it, and
Right.
it was again just a great experience at the end of the day.
So how did you guys receive it? I'm sure everyone in the community in LA loved it, but I mean, I know again it wasn't like a big blockbuster, but even though it became a cult classic and it's a classic, how does that work when you guys hear how it's doing, or do you guys really know about all those things, or how are you receiving it when
So
it comes
for the
out?
first 10 years, because again, this particular movie allowed me to become a part of the union SAG.
Oh,
So for the
dope,
first 10 years, I was able to, receive, a residual, God, thank God and stuff, and, per contract, situations. After that, actually, I wasn't eligible for that. I mean, after I was able to, receive some type of benefit in in the long run. But again, after right out of 2 years after that, I left the whole industry because, like I said, I got married and had had children, and it was very expensive and hard at that young age to try to pursue both. You
Right.
know,
Right. Wow. How long? Well, I guess like you said, you being out of the business, so you weren't in tune. Like, did you just? I mean, how was that like? Because I know sometimes even when actors, people don't know, like it's times off, it's times they work, it's times you don't work. But I mean, how was that for you? Like, to go from a big movie and then like, how was that transition for you? Like to not be working, or did you just not want to, or was it not coming in? And how was
no,
that for you? Because you go
yeah,
from
I tried.
movies to just a regular guy. Like, how does that
Right.
work?
Well, I tried my manager. My manager at that time, I don't really remember at that time. Definitely was trying to put me still out there. But again, I mean, having kids at a young age, I wasn't really able to kind of pursue that type of passion,
Right.
that type of daily activity because I had, basically 4 mouths to feed at that, time. So
Right.
I really, like I said, I left the whole industry for like maybe like 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, like, just became a working father. It wasn't easy. Just like I said, I mean, 4 children at a very young age was very hard. And like I left the whole industry, like I said, for a good like 20, 30 years. And although I'm still not in the industry, but I happened to see the girls about 20 years after
Right.
at
Right.
a meet and greet in Santa Fe Springs.
Okay.
And they were doing a meet and greet. And I happened to see them and I was like, wow, hey, this is what's going on. I'm like, good. And I told them, hey, listen, I have 4 children. I've been, doing my thing and stuff. But I mean, it's good to see you guys around. And I made myself available at that time to start coming out. So I mean, that's why I've been coming out ever since.
That's dope. I want to get into that, how you guys made the reunion. But let me ask you this too. Like you said, as you transitioned from the industry and just went back to a working man, were there times where you well, not even you personally, or maybe you see someone, because you know how people just think automatically that you're in a movie, you're rich, you're a star, all this stuff. You know what I mean? So were you? How was that for you? Maybe when you see somebody, or were people like, wow, I thought this, that, and how was that for you transitioning for that, if any? I don't know.
Yeah, it really didn't have much of an impact. Like I said, being young, really, a lot of really, I didn't get really recognized at that time. I mean, if I would have probably pursued it, maybe more, but
Right.
I didn't. But I mean, it's okay because again, I had a different drive, which is working to support
Gotcha.
my family. Yeah, and again,
Gotcha.
it wasn't hard. It wasn't easy. I had a lot of ups and downs. Nobody's perfect. But again, I mean, just to be full circle, 30 years later, I'm just happy to be a part of this show too.
Right, right, dope. Hey, let me ask you this: how long? I mean, of course, you're out the business and you see, but how long did it take you to realize that this is one of those movies that becomes a hood classic, like Menace and all these? Like your movie is in that same category as far as that type of, you know what I mean? When people want to see that and reminisce, and you know what I mean, because this takes us back to that time when we see
Right,
that movie. If you came up in that time, you know what I
right.
mean. How long did it take you to realize that? Okay, I'm out the business and all that, but I'm low key a legend. I'm in a legendary movie. You know what I mean? As far as where I'm from, anyway. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, how long did it take you to realize that?
Well, I never forgot that feeling. I've just, like I said, I've always had other priorities to kind of take care of as a normal man. But I'm always thankful and grateful to just kind of look back and be like, I was a part of that history. I did have an opportunity to be a part of that moment. And like I said, I'll never ever be I could never be thankful more to be a part of that and just kind of move forward as maybe this is my time now. Like I said. I mean,
Right.
maybe I wasn't mature back then. Maybe I was dumb, adolescent. You live up and down. Here, I'm like, this 30 years later, I'm focused. My kids are grown. I mean, a lot of things have changed. Like I said, I really have a lot of drive and passion to kind of continue this entertainment industry, and it's going to happen in time.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just follow God's path at the end of the day.
That part. But again, I know you appreciate it and all that, but when if you remember, because this movie has been like a classic now for years, but sometimes again in the moments or maybe in those past few years after, you don't realize you're going on with your life, whatever. You feel that I was definitely in a timeless movie. But like I said, now when you look back at it, and for years now, that is a like literally a classic, bro. You know what I mean? As far as from the people from the, that come from that's one of those classics, just like Menace and all these other movies. Like I'm saying, did you ever really take that in and realize that, like, okay, this is a classic movie?
I think I mean,
because
I'm
now,
taking it now. I'm taking it as I speak now.
because
You know,
now,
to be a part of it now, you're just like, wow, I just can't believe that the drive, the love, and the passion. And like I said, it's all about our culture, handing it down from generation to generation. That's where it starts, you know. And you know, like I said, that's I feel that love, and like I said, I mean, that's an honor to be a part of that. You know, I don't know yet how to accept it yet. Like I said, you know, I just follow God's path, and you know, I hope, you know, and like I said, I mean, I live for the best.
right, right. But I'm sure now that, like, even if you didn't before, like now, that's what I'm going to get to next, how you guys reunited, but how you go around everywhere and people request you just to, have meet and greets and all these photo ops. And now, like, you see all the fans and the people that come up to you. So I'm sure you see it now, but that's what I meant. Like, did you realize then? But I know you know now how much of a classic this is and how much people love that movie, bro.
I didn't, and again, I'm just thankful to be alive and still be a part of this culture. Hell yeah.
Right, right. Dope. So again, moving forward, so you said it was about 20 years and you just happened to see the girls. Like, how did everyone come back and reunite, and how did you get to a point to where now you guys are everywhere and getting booked to be places, like
Yeah.
on tour?
So like 20 years ago, I happened to see, actually, me and my wife. We actually happened to, we were at the Santa Fe Springs swap meet,
Yeah.
and we were just kind of going there shopping again. I haven't been there for many years. Again, we
That's the
haven't.
spot now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so we happened to be there, and then actually I was walking outside, and we were walking to the car, and next thing you know, I think I seen was it Sadie? I think Sadie, Baby Doll, and I want to say Angel,
Okay.
who played Sad Girl. I think they were
Right.
there doing a meet and greet with Sleepy, and then I happened to run into them at that time. I'm like, oh my god, wow! And she's like, Art Shadow. I'm like, yeah, this is me. I'm like, wow, my god, what a long time no see. I'm like, wow, it's good to see you guys, and we happened to connect basically at that time, and you know, ever since then, I mean, we kind of got each other's contact and be like, hey, listen, well, we this is what we do, kind of, you know, every now and then for, you know, for the culture and for the movie, and if you guys, if you're available, would you like to be a part of these events? And I was like, well, sure. I mean, if I could, you know, if I'm available and I have the time, sure. And
Right.
I've been doing it ever since, and I'm just real grateful for Beto, you know, even Baby Doll, you know,
Yeah.
Sad Girl, you know, Mousy too, and even Sleepy. They've also come out to a few events that we've all did, and actually now we got Panchito aboard, Jesse Borrego. We actually got the whole family this year, you know, out to do things, and it's been just a blessing to be a part of.
Wow, that's dope. Were there ever any? I know you guys probably talked about this before, but were there ever any talks about a part two? And like you said, now being that everyone is still, well, for the most part, is here, like, and you guys are all tight. Like, has there any been talking about maybe a part two or something to add to that story?
So I heard there was always a part two, but when you talk, when you know, when you talk, you know, when you're doing a movie about the hood, there's going to be hood politics in it. So,
Right.
you know, that may have never ever been, you know, that second part may have never ever been revealed, you
Got
know,
you.
based on, you know, the politics and, you know, situations. Nevertheless, you know, but
Right.
at the end of the day, big shout out to Allison Nanders again. She was the director of this. She actually lived in the hood. She had mentioned she actually studied and hanged out with the ladies from the hood and actually got their permission and stuff and their learn everything about them. You know, and it was, again, it's just a great experience to be a part of. Again, shout out to Big Allison Nanders, who was the director of that movie.
Yo, yeah, shout out to her. Did a credible job, man. I love to see young directors and stuff bring together those stories and they become classics. The homie Hairnet Tony, he's a comedian. He said, "Oh snap, Little Shadow took over Ernesto's operation, man."
Well, again, that was a really big, you know, operation to try to take over again. Me being young and dumb, I was trying to do it, but nevertheless, I may have never been the
Yeah,
best drug dealer.
right. And that's, and you know what I loved about that story, bro, and that all that, because that's real life shit. You got homies
Right.
that go through that and try and it just doesn't work. But the thing is, I love that story and how you had the homegirl with you. She was helping you, and all that was just like some real shit, bro. That movie was just real, bro.
Exactly. And again, shout out to Whisper, because she was a real homegirl from the hood, and she actually made me feel comfortable, kind of, you know, portraying that type of character. Again, I could relate to that because, again, I mean, I kind of lived in that situation, nevertheless, but she made me feel comfortable with, you know, trying to portray that, and you know, I got a really, you know, good vibe from, you know, just being able to play my character with her.
Right, right. Yeah, that was dope. She played. I loved her part. The homie said I heard a lot of the extras from the neighborhood died. I don't know. Is that true?
That I mean, I'm sure some of them have. I mean, nevertheless, when we're talking about homies from the hood or just
Yeah, yeah,
anything in general, that could
yeah.
happen. I know several have passed on. I know one of the ladies have passed on. That's why at the end of the movie they do a dedication in remembrance of her.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean it happens. Then we're talking damn near 30 years, bro. So it's people that's definitely passed anyway. But I'm sure it was homies from the neighborhood too. From that, what comes with that. You know
right.
what I mean? Hey, I love that scene too. I think that was you. You were about to get jumped in, or what? What was that scene about? Who was getting jumped in or about to when you guys were all right there?
No, actually, he wasn't about to get jumped in. Actually, we were in the scene in the outdoors, and I
Yeah.
was about to accept that I'm gonna kill El Duran, and the
Okay.
homie hands me a gun. If you're talking about the homie that gets jumped,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
little Sleepy.
Okay.
That's little Sleepy who gets jumped.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was getting those scenes confused, but you're right. That's when you were about to. They gave you the gun.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That was dope too. How you were just able to take over. Really, you had no. It was like really just handed to you like that, and I don't think you were ready for that or even prepared. But you had to step up. After your brother died. Tell us about man too. That legendary truck in there, and how was that with the truck even in the movie? Did you guys get to mess around with it and see like well because that truck took a that's like a legend in itself and took a life of its own. I know they
it
recreated
did.
the truck and all
I
that.
don't. It did, and again, being very young at that time, I don't really know that much of the history. But after actually working with one of my friends named Jeff, actually he actually knew the original artist from that truck, which is called, I believe, Danny. Danny was the original artist for that truck, and actually, he was the one who was basically allowed that truck to be in the movie and stuff like that. So I mean, that truck is very sentimental. It
Right,
has a lot of history. I know it's been handed down from people to people. The people that own it now are Suavecito Pomade. They actually have it restored in their facility in Santa Ana. Uh,
okay,
but at the end of the day, the true artist was Danny D. He
okay,
was the original artist behind that Suavecito and that truck.
that's dope.
It was
Hey,
just a good honor experience. Actually, about 2 months ago, I did a photo shoot with Volo, Cholo Volo, and Jeff. He was an old school guy that I used to work with, and we did a photo shoot with that truck.
okay,
Yeah,
dope.
just a good honor experience to be a part of that.
Dope. The homie said, "Does he remember his Selma Hayek?" Yeah, we talked about that already. Already hearing that, Tony, you're a little bit late, but yeah, shout out to Selma Hayek. We talked about that. Didi said the greatest part of it all, Ernesto. Yeah. And if anybody has any questions for the homie, feel free to put it in the comment. We'll ask him if he wants to take questions.
Yeah. Well,
What what
can
is
I
it?
take can I go real quick? I gotta check on my son real quick.
Yeah,
Give
go
me
ahead,
one
bro.
minute.
Go ahead, bro. Yeah, so like I said, if anybody has any questions for the homie, leave it in the comment and we'll ask anything about the movie. We got the homie Aurthur here from Vida Loca. You know what I mean? Classic, legendary movie. One of my favorites, man. I mean, so any questions, let me know right there in the comment box. Uh, Shout out again to my producer, Didi Harrison, making things happen. Conversations in the Hookah Lounge will be back next Saturday, not this Saturday. Don't forget, Sunday night, we're back with Oldies Rule Forever. Hairnet Tony, okay, Kid Frost was in the movie too. Did he meet him? Oh, that's a good question, bro. Good question right there. That's a good one. Okay, the homie Hairnet Tony has a good question. He said Kid Frost was in the movie too. Did he get to meet him?
Yes, actually, Kid Frost was in that movie. He actually played, I want to say, Sadie's dad when he was actually found out that she was pregnant. He was saying, "Get your all your little shit, get the shit, get you up out of here."
Yeah,
So I didn't get to meet him at that time, but actually I have met him now.
right,
30 years later, I met him a while back, and it was just a good honor to see him actually 30 years later,
right,
and he
right.
still remembers me and stuff. I think I seen him last at the premiere.
Okay,
I may have
okay,
met him. Like I said, I ran into Sin Dog, I ran into Cypress Hill, I ran into a lot of those old cats
right,
back then when they were barely kind of catapulting. But
right,
again, me being 16, I was just in the presence of them, and it was just a good experience and an honor
right.
at the end of the day.
You
Very humble.
Right. You know what's crazy? You know, when that movie came out, like, cause people used to say that too. And I never even, I just didn't catch it or pay attention that that was Kid Frost the whole time. That was the homegirl's pop's dad. I remember when he kicked her out and all that. And I just never knew that. I don't know why, but, because at that time I already knew Kid Frost, because Kid Frost already had the hit that,
Yep.
back then, right? This is for La Raza. So,
Yep.
he was already big, like he was big, you know what I mean? But I always missed that in the movie for some reason. So that's
Right.
a great question.
And at the end of the time, when you talk about big too, Jesse Borrego, Panchito, they just got finished doing real
Yeah,
big iconic like movies in that time, and and then they actually came over to do our film, which is a very great experience, an honor to be in their presence. Big shout out to
right,
Panchito, Jesse Borrego, everybody, even Ernesto. He's
right.
gone on to be a
Yeah,
tremendous actor. Danny Trejo. I mean, I was in the presence of those guys, and to just have that experience was a great humble experience at the end of the day.
dope, man. That's what I say. That's incredible to have that on your resume and just to be able to look back on and say, I know I don't know how many movies you or how big your career, but to know you have that under your belt is big.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can go saying, man, I'm good with that. The homie Ernesto had a question. He said, how many movies has Arthur been in?
Well, actually, again, so this particular movie, maybe La Loca, was supposed to be actually that big movie that kind of set me to hopefully it'll get me to that next level. And at the end of the day, not being able to pursue it for other reasons from having children, I didn't get to see that. But 30 years later, I'm still here and I'm available for any upcoming previews or premieres. I'm always here.
But I know you said that was really your only major one, but you
Major one.
have a lot of stuff in on set or audition or
Yeah, a lot of stuff I auditioned for. Like I said, I did. Like I said, I was in the movie. I was in a play called Nine the Musical. It's about an Italian artist called Guido. I was at the Gene Dynarski Theater. I played that for like I was in that. I was in the play. I was also in the Nutcracker. I was in a movie called Distant Waters. Another movie called The Big Turnaround with Ernest Borgnine. These are a lot of little small little skits that kind of helped me get up to where that particular movie had got me.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. That's
And
dope.
again, 15, 16,
Yeah,
at that time I was, still trying to beat up Travieso. So, but I still had a passion for it. I was able to still land these particular, opportunities that helped me kind of grow to where I needed. And that particular movie could have kind of, ticked me off, but nevertheless, God maybe had a different plan for me.
right, right. I mean, that's interesting to me too. How you have a movie like that. Again, I don't know because you were just young, but that movie, like so many of the actors in there, I think could have had a dope career and more things. Do you credit that to not being maybe represented right, having the right agents or managers? Because obviously you had people working with you to even get you to
Right.
that point, but what happens when you want to move further? Like because everyone in there, I think had could have had a great future.
Right. And again, a lot of people have had great futures. And you're right. I mean, again, in the 90s, we don't know what, I mean, again, being in the 90s at that age, everything's building upon whatever's, going on at that time. Like I said,
Right,
Dre, Death Row, rap and everything.
right.
That whole industry is starting to get built. So, I mean, being 16, I'm just trying to hold my ground. And, like I said, I mean, I fumbled, and I could be, I'm not ashamed to say that, of being young and stuff, but I was able to sample a little bit of that type of culture, that history. I grabbed a hold of it, and being 30 years later now back at it, it's like, I'm grateful. I mean, I'm just thankful and honored to be a part of
Well,
that.
and I mean, come on, like you just said, what I want to commend you on, like you said, even though you said you fumbled the ball at 16, though, I want to commend you to even be at that point. Most people at that age, I know me at 16, like we couldn't even probably made it to that point, even if, like you said, we had the help or you know what I mean, the alley oop to do that because we were doing so much shit. So for you to even make those moves that you did, be in all those productions and the catapult to that amazing movie there at 16, I'm sure it's hard, man, to do it all right and correctly. And then, like you said, you go back to doing what you're doing. You're young, man. So, you know what I mean? That's hard to do, especially if you don't have, you would have to have almost perfect representation and
Right.
people over you and all that, and that's hard when you're young and then enjoying success and still want to have fun and do your thing. You know what I mean?
Right. And I probably did, but I didn't maybe take advantage of that. Like I said, my mom was my manager, and like I said, I mean, my mom didn't really know at that time how to be. She was more maybe like a stage manager. I mean, a
Right.
mall manager rather than a stage manager. So,
Right.
that could have hindered that. But I mean, just being a part of that, helped me just kind of be thankful. At the end of the day, just to be a part of that.
But the great thing about it all, like you said, you're back now, 30 years later. The greatest thing of all of that is that you still look young, bro. Like it's not like you're up here looking like an old man. So it's like you can still get right back in the mix playing some great roles. I think you don't have to be typecast as an older. Like you still look young, bro. You can
You're
get
right.
in there and I mean seriously, bro.
You're right. And again, that's why I have that passion to get back into it. There's a lot of competition nowadays. Shout out to all of the young, upcoming Hispanic Latinos who just kept that, acting, passion going. There's a lot of competition. But you're right. I feel like I have a place in this. If everybody, I'm a little bit different from everybody. Everybody, has something to give. And you're right. I think 30 years later, have something to give. And hopefully, me being young, and I'm able to grab a hold of something.
Right. I don't know if you've been able to because you've been away, but I don't know if you've been able to mingle inside a little bit of the industry and some sets or productions. But how do you think, or even looking from afar, how do you think the industry has changed over the years from when you were in it to now? As far as like, has things progressed? Do you see more actors, more opportunities, and even in the industry? Like, how has it changed to you, if any, if you could tell?
I mean, I've never paid attention to it back then because again, I was always out just a blue collar worker. But nevertheless, looking back at it 30 years later, I see that the Latinos and the Hispanic culture has definitely put a very big footprint in this industry to not be forgotten.
Right.
And even somebody like me, being 30 years later, could come back and read for a script, be a part of a program or a big project. Like I said, there's room for everybody. Like I said, and like I said, everybody has a place, and the Latinos have also stepped up. I mean, we got a lot of projects going on. These guys are keeping things going. Shout out to G Money. He's a good up and coming actor. I think G Money. I've been working with, not working with him, but talking with him a lot. A little project I did a while back called a Higher Power with Mr. Homicide. Anthony, he's doing this good thing. A lot of young Latino, actors and directors really trying to put together something and make this stuff pop.
Right, right. That's dope. The homie hearing that Tony said, whatever happened to, well, he spoke about her earlier, but he said, whatever happened to the director of Mi Vida Loca, and have you spoken to her?
Well, actually, we did. We actually last week we had a 30-year anniversary at the Downtown Palace in LA, and almost everybody but three of the main characters, which was Ernesto, Selma Hayek, and I want to say Angel, came out, to have a 30-year anniversary at the Palace.
Man,
And she came out. The director came out. Danny Trejo came out,
wow.
and yeah, so we keep in touch with everybody. I mean, she's actually gone off to do a couple other things. Actually, she's done a lot of scripts for the Mayans. She's on. She works actually for the series called the Mayans. I hear now, so she's
Right.
still director and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow. That's dope. That's how, man. Before I ask this question, how was that though, man, for everyone? I know you've been meeting up with everyone, but to have an official event like that and everyone for the most part came out and you guys were, celebrated. How was that?
Well, this 30th anniversary was a great experience for me. Again, it was an honor, again, a pleasure to be in the presence of all these legends again at the end of the day. And for 30 years, for this movie to still keep, having that good vibe and, passing it on from culture to culture and generation, it's just a great experience to be a part of.
Right. That's dope. That's dope. Okay. Ernesto said some good movies are Blood In, Blood Out, American Me, and Boulevard Nights. Yes, some of my favorites. What are some of your favorite classics? Like where do you rate Mi Vida Loca in those?
Well, again, Mi Vida Loca will always stand out because, again, this particular movie was about all those particular, culturistic movies during that time, but it was about a love story about
Yeah.
that everybody could relate to. Everybody falls in love, or everybody has a group of homies that mess with a homie, that mess with a homie, that has a homie's girl. So,
Right.
everybody can relate to that, So, I like this particular movie, but also like Colors. Colors was one of my favorite movies.
Me
You know,
too.
like
Me
one of
too.
my buddies. You know, he was one of my dance partners in our our dance group called LA Dancers, called Steve Gallegos or everything. But he's the guy that got spray painted in the
Right.
face green by
Right. That's
Sean
dope.
Penn.
That's dope because you know Colors is to this day, bro. One of my favorites too. I play it every now and then, pull it up, and a lot of some people think that's kind of cheesy. Colors, you get different reviews from different people, right? But you can't deny that Colors, man, is just a classic, and that's really what put the light on as far as worldwide and whatever. I mean, Colors, that's what really set it off. I mean, of course you had your movies before, like Homie said, Boulevard Nights and different stuff, but Colors really just
The
put
LA
that.
streets. I think that Colors really put a stable on the LA streets
Yes.
and what LA gangs really have to do with it. And
Yeah.
I didn't gang bang in my life, but again, I think Colors had a real good staple on what the
Yeah.
true LA lifestyle at that age. I mean, at
Because
that time, was about.
it showed everything in one. Like you didn't have, it wasn't just like Boulevard Nights, East LA, or it wasn't just a Crip and Blood. Even though they showcased that, but they had everything in one in that movie. So
Yep,
like you said, you got the experience right there. You know what I
yep,
mean?
yep, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Homie said Ice T. Yeah, shout out to Ice T. R.I.P. Frog. Yeah, that was because I think Frog, they said, passed away like right after the movie came out, so he didn't get.
Wow, I didn't know that. But I'm also there was that one guy who played that guy who shot that guy with the shotgun. He wasn't
Yeah.
even a gangster. I heard after that he became a gang. He killed somebody.
Oh,
He's doing
really?
life.
Wow.
I think
Wow.
it was that one guy who shot. I don't know who he's, but it was in that one movie. Like he was an actor in the movie, and then
Yeah.
after he turned gangster.
Oh
And
no,
he shot
no, no! You're talking about Boys in the Hood, the dude that shot
okay.
Ricky. Yeah. That was true. He did become a gang member and then went to prison and
Right.
got killed, homie, in prison. Yeah. That was a
That
sad
was
story.
Boys in the Hood. Wrong movie there. My
Yeah,
bad.
that was Boys in the Hood. Because actually, the dude that shot Hodges at the end, that was your boy who became a great actor. I just keep calling him Rico Suave because he had that one song Rico, but he was an actor as well. I can't forget his name. But you know what I'm talking. He was in Colors. That was the homie who said from 21st Street.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't think of
Not
his.
Pete Vasquez.
No, no,
No.
no, no, no. Shit, I can't think of his name. But he had the song Rico Squad. That's what people know him from. Remember
Yeah.
the Rico? But he was a
Rico Suave.
actor. But he was a great actor though. He was in a lot of different films, bro. But I can't think of his name. Yeah. But Colors had a lot of people who went on to become great actors. You
Great
know.
people. Yep.
Yeah. So shout out to Colors, man. Rocket. Yeah,
Oh,
that was Don Cheadle. So I asked you. You said Colors and Mi Vida Loca are at the top for you, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What did you think again too? Because now you're mentioning movies that went on to become classics, but these were movies that you possibly could have been in, like Colors, and then you got American Me, which is another big classic. What do you think about American Me?
I mean, American Me again. I think I did audition for that part too. Again, I was too young, or I looked too young. They were like, you know what? He's too much of a baby face still. Because
Right,
I did audition for American Me too, but
right,
it was again I was again being 16 again. I was still churning. You know, I had a very young face at me, but yeah.
right. Yeah, you were young. Like I said, right now, which is a blessing because you still look young. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing,
I give
homie.
a shout out to all the bike riding. Yeah, like I said, I do bike riding on my free time. I do a lot of bike riding and hiking and stuff like that. I just try to keep myself active.
Right. Homie said my favorite actors opportunity. Who are some of your I don't know even if you had actors or people that you looked up to or respected as actors, but even maybe now, like who would you say were some of your favorite actors?
Well, again, not saying favorite, but again, being so young and been in the presence of Jesse Borrego, Panchito, and and Ernesto and those guys, that was a very humble and honor to be a part of them. And although they have all been off, gone off to be, success, I looked up to them and like, wow, they did it. You know,
Right.
they they went off to make it happen. Like Selma Hayek too. I mean, they said she was just like I said, that was her first movie, Danny Trejo. I
Right.
look up to him and be like, wow, like I said, when I was there last week, I was like, you guys have all went on to make it happen, and it's just an honor to be in their presence, and
Right.
I feel like maybe God has a pace for me in some time to, maybe, pursue something in that industry.
Right.
Everybody has their time, and maybe
Right.
I was dumb and immature at that time to not really maintain or grab a hold of it, and maybe 30 years later is an opportunity for me to grab a
Well,
hold.
well, I mean, again, bro, you're 16 at the time. What can you really expect? You have to be really, I'm serious, bro. You had to be really just not even a kid, really from the streets. People that are like that are really just real actors and probably brought into this shit. But if you're really from the streets and it's hard, bro, at that time to take all that in and make the right decisions. And when you're growing up in LA, it's fast. Everything is going on crazy, bro. And there's a lot of
Oh
not
yeah,
peer pressure, but shit going on around you, bro, that you're gonna
exactly.
fall pressure
And,
to.
and that's why I took a liking to dancing. That's why I was like in Soul Town
Yeah,
Posse. You
yeah,
guys were in ATR. We used to go to
yeah.
Maryland's and Pasadena. Remember
Man,
that? We
hey,
used to battle. We
I
used
be
to
telling them,
battle all the time and
I
shit.
be telling people about Maryland's, bro. They forgot that was the spot in Pasadena, bro.
It was, dude. And I remember you guys as ATR. I remember you guys had this little dance to Aisha.
Yeah, yeah,
Aisha,
yeah, yeah,
dude. I
yeah,
remember, dude.
yeah,
I remember you guys were just like so like the top par dancers. Like I said, I
yeah,
admired that. I was like, dude. And to come back full circle like 30 years later, like, dude, it's just a blessing to
yeah,
just touch base with you, man.
yeah,
You
for
still
real.
looking get down like that or not?
I can, it's always in you, but nah, I'm not like you know what I mean. But it's always in you, and the right
Remember
cut.
you remember when you wore the overalls and you had the
Overall,
one thing
yeah,
hanging out,
yeah,
you had
yeah,
you were the
yeah,
airbrush, the whole
yeah, yeah.
ATR crew,
Yes, sir. Yes,
the whole
sir.
ATR crew.
Yes, sir.
Dude,
Yes, sir. Yes,
Lewis,
sir.
it's all coming back to me now.
Man,
That's
you bringing me back memories, man. And
exactly
we used to do the talent shows at like San Gabriel, like all over the place. We'd go to
exactly.
Rosie,
We used to go to Montebello, remember Cantwell High
Bello.
School,
Yes, sir.
Bosco Tech, all the girls,
Yes, sir. Yes,
all
sir.
the
Shout out
girls'
to
schools and
Montebello.
stuff. It was
And
just a beautiful situation, and that's why I kind of like talking to people that I have known in the past because again, I couldn't remember this back then because we were fucking dumb and doing stupid shit. And
yeah,
now
yeah.
that I am, I'm cool. I mean, it's
You
starting
said
to
me
come
to
back
see
to me.
the dance. And you know what? Like you just said too, having those crews, because see, at that time too, homie, it's stuff going on. I'm with the homies and kind of living a double life, but that's what kept me. I think you know what I mean. That's what kept me.
Molded, kept you
Yeah,
molded, or
molded, bro. Because if not, I would just be already fucked up. But that's what kept
exactly.
me. That type of stuff. So that's why I say I always had a love for the music and all that, bro. Even to this
What
day.
about BJ? You ever talk to BJ?
You know what's crazy? I did talk to BJ about a couple years ago. Um, BJ, man, doing good. He's doing good. I think he lives like in Riverside somewhere, but BJ's good, bro. He's doing good.
That's
Talked to
cool.
Anthony. I don't know if you remember Anthony. Omar, I haven't talked to. I don't know what happened. You remember Omar? He was hard. But I haven't talked to him. But Scooter, everyone I'm still in touch with for the most
That's
part,
cool,
man.
man. It's really nice. And if you ever get to see him, give a big, shout out to him, give him a big hug, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
good to see you guys 30 years from now, and maybe we can see each other soon.
yeah, for sure, for sure. We got to link up. What was I gonna ask you? What's okay now you said you're back in the mix, so what's the future? Do you have any plans? You have anything you're working on? Any plans, like what's going on now with Aurthur?
Well, actually, I was just about 6 months ago. Actually, I did a few cameos with the homeboy, Mr. Homicide. He's
Okay.
actually doing a new movie called The Higher Power. What he's doing is actually getting a lot of old school rappers. I mean, old school actors like Panchito. He's actually got Pete Vasquez. He got a few other old school actors for this new movie that he's actually producing called A Higher Power.
Okay.
I was honored to be a part of that. I did a cameo in there. Actually, Stranger and Baby Doll and Sleepy both did a cameo in that movie for him. As of that, I actually don't have nothing right now, but with our 30th anniversary being this whole year, we actually got a few things lined up. I think me and the girls are going to be going to Arizona in July.
Okay.
In July, we're going to be going to Arizona at a place called Tres Leches. It's a cool ass coffee shop out there, and we're going to do a meet and greet out there, and really just open to any events you guys have. I mean, if you guys have anything shot, you can shoot me a DM, also, and then we could see if we have it on the calendar tomorrow. I mean, actually Sunday, we're gonna actually be in Granary Park in Montebello. We're
Oh,
actually going to be at Granary Park in Montebello. The Lifestyle Car Club is going to be having a big lowrider show. We're going to
okay.
be out there with Bombshell and a few other people out there. We're going to be out there at Bettles. We'll do a meet and greet. I'll be there and we're just gonna be selling merch. If you guys want to come by and get some exclusive merch right here, my homeboy Beyond did this. It's called My Crazy Life.
That's dope.
Hell yeah.
That's so this Sunday, people, I see the homie Stomper out there. We got a couple fellow Montebellians in the chat. So go check the homie out this Sunday. He'll be in Montebello. Where is it gonna be?
Montebello at the Grant Ray Park on Beverly and Grant Ray Boulevard. Basically, it's right there. I mean, it's right across the street from the riverbed. You can't miss it. It's on Beverly Boulevard.
Okay, that's what's
Grant
up.
Ray Park. It's the animal park.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up. People pop up. Everyone said I need that shirt.
Also have some girl tank tops too.
So how do the people get at you for the merch? They just DM you or what?
Yeah, DM me. You can actually go on AurthurScare.com on my Instagram and then send me your size. I have I'll send it to you.
Dope.
And I'll be out there Saturday. Have some merch.
Dope. That's what's up. Anything else going on with you, like Aurthur? Like, what else do you do? Well, you said you do bike. Like, what else do you do for fun? Like, what occupies your life in this time right now, man?
Well, again, Monday to Friday, I'm a product support representative for Rust-Oleum.
Okay.
I've been working there for like 20 years.
Dope.
I've been there. They actually bought a company I used to work with. I work for called Miracle Sealants, but they bought us out, and I've been working for them for about 20 years. That just pays the bills. On my free time, I do a lot of biking and hiking. I like to ride BMX bikes.
Right.
I ride with a couple local groups from here, from the SoCal area, called BMX Rad Rides, 41 Thursdays, and we do a lot of bike rides every other day of the week. We just meet up, and that's pretty much it. We just hang out.
Right.
Have my kids every other weekend, so
dope.
But just up for anything. You guys just shoot me a DM if you guys have any upcoming events. I'll talk to the girls. I normally could get like Beto, Baby Doll, and a few other people on board if you guys want to have us out there.
Right. Whatever happened to like Whisper and all the other homegirls? Like whatever happened.
Again, Whisper being an original homegirl from the hood at that time. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know the situation now, but I mean, again, I know that hood politics played a situation. So, I mean, I don't know if she's no longer in the picture, but I still talk to her every now and then. I know, she's gone off to, have a family of her own and stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, that I don't really know that much about.
Right. I get it. What do your one more thing? What do your kids think, man? Now you got grown kids, and then they go back and see, like, even now, I'm sure they knew you coming up. They didn't know all that because you were just dad working, but to see you now full circle and everyone enjoying you and meet and greets and pictures like you're a star, and they get to go back now and see the movie. Like, what do they think about that?
Well, again, at that time, again, I never saying I shadow my kids, but again, me being always just a working dad, my kids didn't know me as that. They just know me as dad, worked, and again, I worked my ass off. I mean, it was never easy. It was, again, minimum wage at that time was like $4.95.
Right.
So I had to try to get like 5 jobs at that time just to try to support 4 children. But again, I mean, they just kind of look at me as a, working father. But again, I mean, I wish I was
able to appreciate it, like even now, like to go back and see, wow, Dad, that was a, the movie, what I mean?
They came out 2 weeks ago. 2 of my kids came out at the premiere, and they were just like, kind of like astounded, just to be like, wow, I mean, damn, this is Dad. And like, it was a good, experience, to have them, feel,
Right. That's dope. Just to come.
And at the end of the day, I'm just thankful they're all, adults and young and healthy. They're working, just making their own path in life.
Right. Dope. Anything else, man, you want to talk about or promote or plug or anything else you got going on you want the people to know about?
No, just again, thank you for the opportunity again, Louis. I mean, again, being, knowing you for so long, and it was a good experience. This is my first podcast, so if I seem nervous, I just want to say, man, I'm sorry. You guys made me feel very comfortable.
You did great, bro. Again,
hell yeah, we got to link up pretty soon. And just everybody that tuned in, I just want to thank you guys all. And just a great opportunity to be part of that, staple during that time. It was a great experience.
Yes, sir.
And anybody young listening on here, if you guys have a dream or passion, go after it. Like I say, quit looking at your phone, close your eyes and dream a little, and if you if you have a desire, you go get it. The phone's not going to get you to it, and just have a chance to dream. And I think that's what I did when I was at a real young age, just trying to learn how to dream a little. And sometimes kids don't know how to do that nowadays. Close their eyes and just think of what things could be if you pursue something at a young age, and I have the opportunity to do that.
Hey man, that's dope. I'm glad you said that, right? Because I want to ask you, what do you think about, like you said, like you keep mentioning phones. That's literally what controls everyone's like now, and we have social media, and that's really like a gift and a curse. But back then we didn't have social media, any of that. So what do you
Right.
think about that going on right now, and how that's taken over so much? I mean, it's kind of good, but it's definitely a bad. What do you
I
think?
hate it. To be honest, I hate it. Like I said, I mean, my kids, at the end of the day, they were kind of growing up at a time where it was barely getting kind of popular, but it wasn't. So they still have the best of both worlds. But at the end of the day, I really hate it because these kids don't know how to do it. And at the end of the day, just close your eyes and dream a little.
Right, they don't know shit. They don't
Close
know
your eyes and just dream a little, or
they
look
don't,
at somebody and have a conversation with them.
right. We don't.
Or write a letter.
Right.
Do some writing, like I wrote those little things down. I didn't even use it. I kind of just went up, but I go back to the old school, man. I'm always writing. I just kind of, look back and think what life is without it.
Right. That's
You
dope.
could still be as successful. You could still be, as passionate. You could still be as driven.
Right.
Just like I said, close your eyes and dream a little. I think and if kids take a step back and kind of do that, they may get them farther rather than thinking a phone's going to do that for them.
Right. Because literally the phone raises the kids now. Like you said, back in the day, we got out there, like we interacted, like we were everywhere. I remember like kids now don't even probably go past. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. They made me Uber, but we walked, we took the bus. We were everywhere. We used to be as kids, like you said, 14, 15, all over LA, bro.
I never used to be home. My mom used to have to call my buddies to look for me because I would be out in the streets, like not causing trouble, but at a homie's house, riding bikes, doing something, playing ball, and unfortunately kids are pretty, spoiled or locked into a device where they may not have that opportunity. But I mean, at the end of the day, at a 16, if I could ever, if I could tell a young kid to just, again, close their eyes and dream, or just think of something that they have a desire for, make it happen.
Right. Facts.
I'm not the smartest, kid in the world too, but I was able to kind of maybe take an opportunity of that at that young age to do that. And I would encourage any kid to do that.
Right. Facts. Well, once again, people, man, legendary night. We have the homie Aurthur here, aka Shadow from Vida Loca, and he did the damn thing. Man, I want to thank you, brother. This was good, bro. And you said this was your first podcast. You did great. You knocked it out the park, man.
It was, other than the one I did when I first met you on
Blackout.
ODMs, yeah. That one
yes.
actually was in the house, so I felt a little bit comfortable. But here, this is the one doing and again, at the end of the day, you made me feel so happy at home. It's like I'm talking to my old school homeboy, which I am.
That's what I told Didi. It was like she gave me the thing, the questionnaire and all that. I'm like, that's cool, but this is my homeboy, so this is gonna be fun. You know what I mean? And I was excited about this, man. You know what I mean? So it's good to chop it up and just see you, man. Of course, we linked earlier, but to see you, man, full circle, and we get to talk about it, and we go back all these years, man. It's a blessing, bro. Amen.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And thank you for everybody that tuning in, man. I appreciate it. You guys, hope you guys leave a good message in the comment. And again, I appreciate everybody's feedback. And again, shout out to G-Lew and the whole family behind this.
Yes, sir.
And I'll be seeing Danielle Chanel this Sunday. She's actually going to be out there at Grant Lake Park.
Okay, yeah, DeAndre Chanel. Yeah, shout out to DeAndre, my co-host. Yeah, shout out to her. Shout out to her. Yeah, and once again, tell them where they can follow you at and get at you for bookings, merch, all that.
You can follow me at arthur.esquer on Instagram.com and send me a DM.
There it is.
Shirts available, beanies and hoodies, and tank tops for women and men.
There it is. The homie, man. Thank you once again, bro. Appreciate it. I'll be in touch soon, homie.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. God bless you. You guys have a good night.
Yes, sir. Much love and respect. That's the homie right there, man. whoo, incredible, man. My homie Aurthur, like I said, went to high school with the homie, and it's just great to see him full circle. I was so happy for the homie when that movie. I remember when it came out, and I was just proud, man. Like, that's the little homie. He told me, because the crazy part is he told us, like, I'm an actor, and we knew he was doing stuff, but we like, okay. And then to see him later, because we lost contact, and I seen him in that movie, I was just happy. I was telling everyone that's my homeboy, man. So I'm very proud of the homie for that movie, because that's one of my favorites. You know what I mean? So much love, everyone. Shout out to the homie Hairnet Tony, man, in the chat, man. Much love to you, bro. Homie Shadow Little bust out my pager in your honor. Hey, I love the homie Hairnet Tony. He's a comedian, man. Shout out to Nay Love, my partner in crime. That's G Nay. Shout out to my producer Didi. Shout out to Teresa, my sis in the chat. I see you, girl. Much love. Shout out to Keisha, Ernesto, everyone in the chat tonight. Thank you for the love and respect. My boy Stomper, Big Stomper, Montebello. Send my love to the homie Trubs. Check us out. We'll be back Sunday night for Oldies Rule Forever. You don't want to miss that, man. We're going to have fun. Everyone have a great weekend. Much love, all respect, peace, 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 and all that. We out of here. Oh, it's just showing me. Thank you, Didi. Shout out to Didi. For some reason, I was playing the video, but for some reason it did not play. But thank you, Didi. She said it's just showing you. But I'm out of here, everyone. Have a great weekend. Shout out to the homie Big Left, Teresa, Irma. Much love, everyone. I'm out of here.